If your car payment is over $600 a month, there's a very real chance you cannot afford it, even if the bank approved you. And that's not hate, that's just math. In 2026, people are walking into dealerships making $50,000 to $70,000 a month and buying $40,000 cars with 84-month loans, 10% interest, and they think that they won. Meanwhile, the bank won, the dealer won, and your future income just got locked into a mistake that's gonna follow you for years. So today, I'm gonna break down exactly how much car you can afford, how interest actually works, not the way TikTok explains it, how much you should put down, and why your credit score matters a lot more than the brand of car that you choose. No motivation, no hype, just numbers. By the end of this video, you'll know what price of car makes sense for your income, how much your monthly payment should be, why a low monthly payment is oftentimes a trap, and how to use your credit rather than letting your credit use you. Because the fastest way to stay broke in America isn't rent, it's buying a car that you can't afford too early. Alright, let's talk about how much car you can actually afford using 2026 math. And let's start off by killing the biggest lie. The dealership does not decide how much car you can afford, your income does. Banks approve you based on risk, but you should buy based on cash flow. So, what actually works in real life? Something called the 10 to 15% rule. Your total car cost, that's car payment, insurance, gas, maintenance, all of that combined should be no more than 10 to 15% of your actual take home income. Not gross, not before taxes, but what actually hits your bank account. And if you break this rule, the car doesn't just cost money, it steals flexibility. Let's put this into numbers real quick. Example 1, $1,200 biweekly take home, which is around $2,400 a month. 10 to 15% of that would be $240 to $360 total, and that means everything. If your insurance is $180 and your gas is $120, that's already $300, which means that your actual car payment should be very close to zero or just very small. And that's why buying a $35,000 or $40,000 car on this type of income is just financial suicide. Now, for example 2, let's go over a $4,000 monthly take home. 15% of $4,000 is $600. Subtract insurance and gas, maybe $250 to $300. That leaves around $300 to $350 for the car payment. Not $600, not $700, but $300. Now for example 3, $6,000 a month take home. Now you have room. 15% of $6,000 is $900. This means that you could afford a $500 to $600 payment as long as your other expenses are controlled. Notice what changed? Not the car brand, but the income. Now let's talk about why lesser monthly payments are a trap, because this is where most dealerships actually get you. Because they don't ask what the car costs, they ask what type of monthly payment you would be comfortable with. Because if they stretch the loan to 72 to 84 months, almost any car can be forced into a comfortable payment. But that comfort is entirely fake, because longer term loans always mean more interest, being upside down for years, and paying for a car that's already worth less than you actually owe. Here's a quick little tip you can use before you actually even step into a dealership. If the entire price of the car is worth more than half of your take-home income, it's too expensive. And if that payment requires an 84-month loan, you can't afford it. Next, let's talk about down payments and why putting more down can actually save you thousands of dollars in the long run, not just lesser monthly payments. Most people think that a down payment is just to make the monthly payment a little bit cheaper, and that's just not correct. A down payment actually decides how much interest you pay, how long you're upside down for, and how hard it is to escape the loan if your life somehow changes. 20% is typically the golden standard. If you're buying a car, especially used, you should aim to put 20% down, if not a little bit more. Cars lose value fast. The second you drive off the lot, the car is already worth less than what you actually ended up paying for it. And a strong down payment would help you absorb that hit. Now let's talk a little bit about interest, because interest isn't random, it's math. The bank charges you interest on how much money you borrow, not just the sticker price of the car. The more money you borrow, the more interest compounds against you. Let me explain just how fast that can actually add up. Let's say you buy a $30,000 car with 8% interest for 60 months. Scenario 1, no money down, meaning you're going to finance every single dollar of that $30,000. Your total monthly payment would be roughly $608 a month. Paid over 5 years, that's $36,500. That's $6,500 just in interest. Scenario 2, 20% down, roughly $6,000, which means you're only financing $24,000 and your payments would drop to roughly $486 a month. Total paid, $29,100. Interest paid, around $5,100 less overall. Same car, same loan length, but thousands saved just for waiting. Now let's talk about why low down payments actually end up hurting you in the long run. Small down payments or no down payment at all means more interest, less flexibility if you need to sell or refinance the car, and being upside down for longer. And this is why people end up feeling stuck with their car because they don't own it, the loan actually owns them. If you don't have 10 to 20% down and an emergency fund on top of that, you're not ready to afford the car yet. Now let's talk about the thing that controls your interest rate more than anything else: credit. Because the difference between good and bad credit on a car loan could literally mean five figures. People think that credit is just about flexing some number, and it's not. Your credit is a pricing tool, and it decides how expensive that your life actually is. When you finance a car, your credit score determines your interest rate, how much the bank trusts you, and how much money they demand in return. Two people can buy the exact same car, but one's going to end up paying thousands of dollars more just because of their credit score. Here's what rates actually look like right now in 2026. These aren't TikTok numbers, these are real. Let's start with a 750 plus credit score. You'd roughly be paying 5 to 6% interest. 700 to 749, 6 to 8%. 650 to 699, 9 to 12%. And below 650 can be anywhere from 13 to 18, sometimes even worse. Every step down, the bank is charging you for the risk. Let's use the same $30,000 car 60-month loan example as before. Person A, 760 credit score, and they get around 5.5% interest. Monthly payment, roughly $573. Total paid, $34,400. Person B, 640 credit with 13% interest. Their monthly payment would be about $683 with a total amount of $41,000. That's $6,600 more for doing nothing wrong except having bad credit. Dealerships love bad credit because they make way more money on bad credit customers. Because higher rates mean more interest, more back-end profit, and an easier ability to upsell. And that's why they push get approved today rather than build your credit first. If your credit score is 680 or under and you don't have a strong down payment, financing a car is usually an irresponsible decision because you'll end up locking in a bad rate that's going to follow you for years. The smarter play is boring but powerful. Drive something cheaper, build credit for 6 to 12 months, and then flip into something a little bit more expensive once you've done that. Because credit doesn't reward speed, it rewards consistency. Now let's wrap this up and put everything together: the rules, the mindset, and how to avoid becoming another car poor statistic. If you remember nothing else from this video, at least try to remember this. Your total car cost should stay under 10 to 15% of your take-home pay. If the car costs more than half of your annual take-home, the car is too expensive. If you need 84 months to afford the car, that means you cannot afford it at all. Aim for 20% down to protect yourself from depreciation and interest. And lastly, your credit score decides your interest rate, and interest is the silent killer. Here's what nobody wants to hear, especially a car lover. Cars don't build wealth, they consume it. Sure, a nice new car is going to feel fantastic for a couple weeks, but a smaller payment is going to feel better every single month. Financial freedom doesn't come from looking rich, it comes from staying flexible. What smart people do is delay upgrades, they build up their income, they drive something cheap while they're doing that, and then when they're ready, they finally buy something nice, and they do it without having any stress. The goal isn't to never enjoy life, the goal is to enjoy life without drowning in payments. Because the very best car in the world is the one that doesn't control your future in a negative way. If you learned anything from this video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you know somebody that's car shopping right now, make sure to send this to them because it could save them thousands down the road. And if you want more straight money education with no fluff, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.